Hi everybody, this is Dragonraizar, and today I have Hawke here with me. Say hi, Hawke.
Hello.
And, well, uh, this is actually the second time we've been doing this, but, this is, last time was just, practice, we'll call it that. Anyway, um, so tell everyone who you are and what you, do.
Alright, well, I am Hawke, and I am a inhabitant at Nathyrnn. Um, I am the lead librarian at the Library of Nathyrnn, so I collect the books, I get people to write them, and I have them open for everyone to read.
And, while we're definitely getting some books, we could always use more, so old and new, pick up your quill and parchment and fill up those shelves.
That'd be nice, It doesn't have to be, too deep or expansive. It's really open for anyone to write anything they want, you know. Looking for at least one bio per character, though. That'd be really nice.
And that, actually, I agree with that. It'll also be very interesting to look at and read. And don't feel like you have to make like a whole novel. Most of these books in there are around only a page or so.
Yeah, they're not too terribly long, so I mean, you can go for as long as you want, but you can write it as short as you want. I mean, it could be like, "Hi, my name is insert name here. I was raised here. I do this."
Yeah, though hopefully with a little more information than that. But yeah, but that's a good way to describe it. And uh, heck, I might do something like that for Zarks now that you brought that up.
Yeah, that'd be great to have. I mean, that's one. I'm still working on mine, but So yes, the lead librarian doesn't have his yet, but it'll be coming.
Yeah, and he's also frequent with the in the weekly role plays. So uh, if you need any advice on any of those role plays, just ask him, and I'm sure he'll have a few nuggets of wisdom for you.
Maybe here and there, but I can't make them do all, and sometimes there's secret missions I go on. But they change quite dramatically, so always best advice. And even if you're not asking me for it, I'm going to give it to you anyways. Be prepared for the unexpected.
Like being eaten by a cyclops. Sorry, but that was actually too good. But yeah, but also you learn as you go with those missions, and we learned not to try to talk to a giant one-eyed creature, uh, and but still, even with that, that was a very fun role play. So even when something bad happens, it's still very fun. So uh, go into role plays with look and just have fun. Because if you're too serious and you end up dying, then it might spoil it for you.
Although dying really isn't a big issue. I mean, you can still have fun even with.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, dying is still it's definitely still an issue though. Uh, I want probably shouldn't worry too much about that because if you do, then you'll be you might be too scared to do anything. Uh, but then I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. But well, how I know I'm gonna say not how to put it, but this is kind of going to the whole side conversation, but yeah, just go into the role plays, and you'll most likely be with Hawke, because he's one of the people I've noticed who've been definitely taking interest in the weekly role plays. So it's so this is a great video because it's really good to know who you're going to be traveling and fighting with.
Yeah, you know, the team members are always different in composure, and they always have something different going with them. You know, some brute strength warriors that'll be good for taking down a good enemy if you're in a tight spot. I mean, it's all about how you go about completing the mission. That's what's left open. So anything could happen from there to there. And don't be afraid to come join them, because the hosts of them are really good at what they do. So make sure it's good for everyone.
And it's also a great place, great way to help with your character development or to even make some new friends here on Nathyrnn.
Easy. You know, it's a good way to have your character come to life, and, you know, may not always plan out how you may want it, or, you know, stuff like that. I mean, nothing can go exactly how you plan it. Just gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, and going on with you said that uh, though it might not go as you expected, you can still get some development from it. Crow and Oasis, for example, with their characters. I believe there was a mission they went on and they something happened and I don't know all the details about it, but I think you know more about it than I do, Hawke. But uh, during the time after, then I think they might technically died in terms of uh, the role play, but when they came back, they had a whole new uh, story for their character and pretty much remade their characters.
Yeah, and that can happen from time to time. Although I think they're the first ones I've ever seen to do it. But even though they technically didn't die, they were captured and stuff. It's all, you know, fiction stuff happened when, you know, spoilers. But anyway, yeah, character revision is fine. It's fun. I mean, I've recently made some renditions to mine because I had torn away from what I originally wanted Hawke to be. So I kind of put him back on track to where I originally pictured him.
Yeah, and that'll happen, and it's nothing and nothing helps you really build your character than having to interact with characters that are from the mind of other people because you may find that what you originally thought would be great turns out that it needs a little work though from what I've seen it must just be like behind the scenes changes that you're talking about because Hawke seemed to have been relatively const well as constant and you know what I'm trying to say as Hawke can be, but uh, yeah.
He's oddball. That's the one thing I kept about him. His personality is still the same, you know, kind-hearted, crazy, loyal, but he's now more in tune to his race. I mean, because he's not one of, you know, troll or human elf, you know. And I've kind of kept away from his race and all the stuff he does. I just kind of kept away from that. I want to get back to that. You know, I like that part. But his personality is the same. Only thing is, I got rid of his shadow powers, and he's now using his powers. So, one set of powers.
Huh. I did not know that. I did not know that. For all I knew, he still had his shadow powers.
No, I was looking at the shadow powers, and some are a little strong, and I didn't really enjoy them as much as I thought I would. So, you know, change your powers. There's a lot of training that needs to get done with those powers, though, because I mean, since he's the only one that knows them to his knowledge, then unless you find someone who can teach him, he's basically going at it on.
But with Varhini he's still with Hawke though, isn't he?
Yep, Bohemian Marzov is still part of Hawke. I guess you would call it being, although he's a separate entity. It's kind of like if you're in a dynamic duo, you kind of have that partner. And in this case, he's Hawke's annoying partner. But even though he says he can't stand him or thinks it, mainly, he's grown quite fond of him.
And I asked because you haven't brought him into play recently, but yeah, and he and one of your skills I wanted to mention that, or one of your strong points is as you're able to put things together very well, even if you only have limited knowledge about it, like Dragon and like Zark's Master Dragon.
I'm not exactly sure how that happens. It just kind of all falls into place. I mean, I'm looking at things and I just get a feeling that, yeah, uh, this sounds plausible. Kind of gut instinct and just kind of how the brain works. I'm able to formulate and see things, but I guess some people can, or I just get lucky. I mean, it's one of those things I can't really explain. I don't think Hawke knows either, so he's kind of empty-headed on that subject. It kind of happens.
Yeah, though with Hawke, you can make up a reason.
This is true. Psychic foresight or something, but I don't know. It's just something I may have to.
So, moving on to the next question. How long have you been in Nath?
Let's see. Gates. More I or Hawke are very good with dates. I guess that's more of a one person transferring himself into another person type of trait. But I'm personally not good with dates. Is what I really should say. But I think it was around June.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds right. A couple of months. I can't exactly remember when I first saw you. I think it was after my like month break or before. I can't remember quite. It was around that time, so that yeah, that sounds about right. Uh, so I think my real first interaction with you was uh, once in the oh yeah, actually now I remember when I first when Zarks first met Hawke. Not that time, but I I I can't even remember exactly when I started playing, but I do remember you around the time either before or after my hiatus. So yeah, June sounds right as I ramble on, but yeah.
Yeah.
So along with that question, how did you find out about Nathyrnn?
Well, I've been to a couple other sites. A few, but a couple of them weren't role play. One of them was the master site. That was not as much fun. but a couple of them were role-playing sites, and I liked it, so I kind of looked around and scrolled around for others that looked interesting. And so I found Nathyrnn upon one of the lists in the links, and so I decided to take a look and followed it. And I stayed quiet the first couple of weeks when I first entered, just to kind of see what it was like and if it actually was alive in role playing, or if it was something I had missed out on. And to my pleasant surprise, and I'm very glad that it hasn't, and it still continues to grow, which is quite unlike a few other sites. Although there are still many out there that do it. You know, I really like Nathyrnn the best.
Yeah, that's kind of how I found Nath too. But yeah, we're glad you found us. You're a great addition to the Nath family.
Families, don't expect me to bring anything big to the picnic then. You know, I'm not the world's best person at remembering the picnics anyway. So, you know, probably show up sheepishly for the game and probably a slightly overcooked mashed potato salad. When I remember, I could probably do that. But anyway, that was fun.
And now comes the interesting question: how would you describe Hawke?
Interesting does not begin to phrase that question. Oh boy, Hawke. Well, he is crazy. Well, Matt himself is crazy. He can be serious when he really wants to. Otherwise, his brain has not come unscathed to be all the way there. And I mean, he is smart. That's apparent. I mean, a lot of people are Nathyrnn are very smart. And I think he's one of the normal people there in that regard. But he's just not all the way sane. And he tries to blend in, but some of his sayings are a little odd. And he'll make references to the past and things long gone that really don't make sense anymore. Or he'll really just kind of, people see him as out there.
Yeah, though there are only a few really sane, completely sane people in Nathyrnn. Though Hawke can definitely say some mad stuff now and then.
Yep, all part of being the last of your kind, over 17,000 years old, and completely, utterly mad. Although, I like to think that as in a good way, you know. The inventor, wanderer, you know, just like good kind. Seeking to help others, all that jazz, you know. Trying to redeem himself for past actions. Being the one that, there, you know, stuff like.
Yeah, and I get what you mean, what you're talking about, and I'm gonna have to we're gonna have to talk about this again. Many people probably after they look at your bio picture and look at your name, a lot of people might a certain Dragon Age hero might come to mind when they look at it.
Yeah, that was really coincidental. And I mean, I changed the first name, but it fits with the last name very well. And I mean, feel bad about, you know, telling his last name. He doesn't want anyone to know. But, you know, I'm just telling the character, so it's not like anyone really should come on and know his last name. But his full name is Hawke Nightwing. So Hawke Nightwing, which sounds very good together. Like, couldn't quite think of anything to go better. But then I found out Dragon Age and, you know, his name, and I'm like, I like the picture, and I can't draw with crud, so I am gonna take that. But his appearance is very different than the one in the picture. and it's also really different personality, and so it's not really much resemblance to the Dragon Age galaxy, which I like because I hate doing other people's work. It's not fun. You gotta go about it your own way.
Yeah, because and I think a lot of people are glad that Hawke is not like the Dragon Age character, even though in Dragon Age you can choose how they are. But because when you try playing as a character or existing like an anime or video game, doesn't really work out much as I've seen. It takes out a lot of the fun. You're bound to to skills that have already been decided for them, and just takes the fun out of it. So um, when I was glad to see that after making the connection between well, the unintentional connection between Hawke and Hawke, I was glad to see that he wasn't similar to the Hawke from Dragon Age.
No, I don't think I'd ever will him anyway. No, but anyway, it just kind of takes out all the creativity if you do go on a route from, if you play someone from a game, it can't be as creative. I mean, you could if you follow it, but decide this is like some other timeline or something. But I mean, you just really have to stretch it.
Yeah, and that could be a lot more trouble than you want it to be because uh, you're going in with a knowledge of your character is always going to grow to be, and you then comes you trying having to when do you make that next step into their next ability, when is it right, and all that, and it's not quite as fun as developing as you go, as which is how you should do it for any character, roleplay character.
Oh yeah, I agree. Although the hardest part, even if it's your own character, is the power development. That has got to be the hardest thing to do. I mean, with that, you just kind of have to set a list of things he has when he walks in, and then just kind of keep it at that. Don't really expand until you feel like you've done enough missions or something. Then just do a slight increase, or if you do a lot of training with other characters who will more than likely be willing to teach you. You just have to find the right one who's willing and knows what your character is. Like I'm a battle mage, kind of. I know sword workings, and then just my one magical, which is mainly offense. It's more of his magical type. So he's ready to defend himself with his sword, but magic is always his first list on attacking the enemy.
And actually, that's also kind of like Zark's. He knows how to use his sword, but his main and most powerful weapon is his fire abilities. Though, as we both found out in our first mission together, it can kind of suck when those are taken away. So it's always nice to have a backup with your character, even if it's not quite as powerful as their natural or main skill or ability.
Alright, it's always nice to have one small minor skill. Like right now, although he recently lost the teacher, he's trying to work on his bow skills, so he can start doing some simple archery, though I don't think he'll ever be very good at it. So have to want to learn to make sure he can have things just in case he needs them.
Yeah, and actually that's you just remind me of another tip, role playing kind of tip kind of things, where and you've already said we're talk to other players, see if they'll train you, and I definitely encourage that because it's you never know where you can take that skill. Like I I haven't I actually don't I haven't ever had a player uh, you learn from other players even if they're not training you directly. You learn from watching and just being there and interacting with them. But when you want your character to learn a skill that another character has, uh, definitely treat it as if you were learning it as in real life, where you have like training sessions. A perfect example I can think of right now is though a lot of people have no idea because sadly Arva is no longer with us, and Alagarth is uh, currently inactive, though his character is still here. Uh, Arva was teaching Alagarth. Oh man, what was it called? The Vox, which it's a very developed kind of magic kind of skill set thing, but for she was been teaching it to him since I started, and even when before around the time when I went on my hiatus, she was still teaching it to him, and that's like a couple months. So, and and it was they did very well where they were learning slowly, and just slowly gaining more experience in that, and that I think that's the best and right way to do it is to do it over time. Don't rush it because if you rush it, you risk kind of appearing or making a character too strong too fast, and that will lead to some problems here in Nathyrnn.
Yep, so just kind of learn to go at it slow, and once you learn to go at it slow, then things just kind of take off. And kind of different now then. So just kind of take it on a real day-to-day basis because that's how best to keep track of things I learn. But also, skills are not easy to learn. I mean, they take time and effort. I mean, if you have a certain character set, then maybe like Hawke will only get to a certain point with a bow. He won't be able to progress. Like he won't be able to get elfish levels. Maybe semi-good, maybe semi-human good level, but that's about it. And that's if he wants to continue. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah, and that you just kind of what you just said kind of reminded me of a way something to compare it to. It's like anyone who's played any D&D based games, whether it's on board or even on the computer, like Neverwinter Nights is a good example for old school players, um, where where it's like as you progress, you advance in certain areas, but based on what your main focus is, you can progress only so far um, in other skills and abilities. And going to what you were saying about the time it takes, in like in real life, you're not going to learn a new language or skill in a week. It takes time, and though in real life it may be boring and tiresome, there, the people in Nathyrnn have a way of making it interesting and fun. But uh, yeah, so definitely, like was Hawke was saying, kind of describing, definitely uh, taking uh, curse you lack of vocabulary. Like you were saying, just progress your side abilities or skills to a certain point. Uh, then, because like for example, Zarks can. I have my own example. Like Zarks as a fire elemental, he can't. As he progresses in power, later on he'll be able to learn a few lightning-based magics, but because of the way elementals are set, he can only do a small range of spells because elementals are almost entirely uh, limited to their elements. So race, like you say, class, and other factors play into that. Sorry if I'm just rambling on and talking, just kind of taking over the interview and talking a lot, but just kind of want to get that in there.
No, that's all right. You're saying good things, and that's a good thing to say, and it's entirely true. There are lots of factors that need to be looked into, and I mean it's fun to try and master them all, but you won't be able to, which is another fun thing is getting over your weaknesses, taking those weaknesses and using them to your advantage.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Weaknesses are a definite must in your character because just like in real life, no one is perfect, and we all have our weaknesses, and weaknesses also give you something to you and your character something to overcome, give them a bit of a handicap, and that's actually what makes. I believe the weaknesses are really what are develop the character more than the strengths because you think strengths you can use to your advantage. Weaknesses are you have to be careful about, and they can definitely bring in some conflict and action, and I believe they really help build character. A lot more than strengths do, though. I'm not saying strengths are not important. They are very important, but you can't have strengths without weaknesses. Otherwise, there really would be no point.
Oh yeah, I mean, no one, as you said, no one is perfect, but also weaknesses can help bring the character to life. I mean, think of it as a novel or a movie in this term. I mean, you don't want the main character to breeze through everything, and then, you know, the wayward knight, smites all his enemies, saves the princess in about 2 minutes, and book's over. I mean, it's all strength, boom, done. I mean, when you read a book or see a movie, you want to see that twist that's showing that the weakness is, he loses, can't, he, he can't fight with his left arm and his right arm is cut off, so he has to. Um, his left eye is blind, but he has to take a shot at the escaping team to save the princess. Those types of things, and that really makes a character pop out.
And yeah, that's a great way to describe it. And another reason why another reason why weaknesses are important is it creates that connection between characters. It gives that human-like feel to them that allows you to connect at a more personal level because you can't really connect with you can't really associate with someone who has a no uh, no weaknesses but is all strength. There's really nothing there for you to associate with. But when you add weaknesses, then uh, that brings it closer to people interacting and to the person who's playing as the character.
Oh yeah, which again brings more to the life of your character, but can also make your time in Nathyrnn much more enjoyable. And I mean, role playing is easily by far the strongest part of the site because I mean, if you go to any site, you can just click the button, kill the dragon, click the button, kill the dragon, click the button, be killed by the dragon. And not many sites can you have someone come to life kind of have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and going back, and another thing I just thought about, just going back to not giving him too many strengths is you is you want to save your oh, first let me ask, did you catch the first part of that? Because I might have accidentally pressed the wrong button. Okay. As I was saying, save your don't spread. You want to have a repertoire of characters, so you don't want to put all the strengths into one character. You want to be able to spread them out and make each one unique. So even though you may not you're only putting as one here, or maybe even two, depending, or three, depending on how you do things. It's I when I was first developing my characters long before I came to Nathyrnn, I faced I made the mistake of adding all the strengths I think of to one character, and when you do that, you become you can become kind of proud of that character, and you don't want to change anything about them. So, but you're gonna have to. So you might as well save yourself that uh, all that trouble and just spread out strengths and weaknesses. Like when we were talking about, it's good to have weaknesses. We don't, you don't, your character doesn't need to have like 100 weaknesses. Then that'd just be silly, and just like having too much strengths, that would definitely ruin the fun for you. Uh, but balance them out among your characters. Even if you don't have a character yet, think one up so you're not tempted to add that strength to a character who's really has no use for that skill or doesn't even really need it. Sorry, am I going on a little too far with this?
No, just real life stuff.
Yeah. So I think we about covered all that. Otherwise, we'll just be rambling on. Uh, so going with the original question at before we went off on this, um, good, but uh, before we sidetracked, how did you come up with and develop Hawke?
Well, what I did was I came up with a basis. I came up with strengths, weaknesses, personality, appearance, name, the basics. And then the rest is I forget who I am in real life, and for a little while I'm playing him, and I just with the social encounters and how due to his personality traits and who he is, let that handle it, and then that forms the developation of Hawke.
That's a very good. That's very good. In fact, that is probably the best way to make your characters. Just start with the basics and go from there. But we, I think we covered that in our. I think we covered most of the character development stuff already. But is there, unless there's anything else you would like to say about Hawke or about Hawke, I'll ask the last question for the video.
No, that pretty much covers it all with Hawke. I mean, personality. I mean, there's still much to uncover, but it's like magician. You don't want to reveal all your secrets. You want to have them come and experience it, and then even if you teach a couple, you want to leave some so that they know some. But they want to come experience being a magician too.
Oh yeah, the secrets are what really make characters interesting when you're finding out new things about them. But anyway, uh, before we before we end the video, what do you want people to know about Nathyrnn?
Well, let's see. It's a great site. The staff there is really nice. Max and King Max and Ardrill are, you know, the top two co-owners, and they try to make sure everything is perfect for everyone. I mean, they do a buttload of work, and they are. It may not be shown, but they're appreciated for it. I mean, they do a lot, so big hats off to them. And role playing is a lot of fun. And if you're not interested in role playing, but just clicking, don't really come to Nav because role playing is a big part. But also there are so many different types of people. It's kind of like you're living in your own little village inhabited by others. It's kind of like moving into a new town. Sorry, the accent will let go. But there'll be new experiences, and it's kind of one of those things where you can't really get in too many other places. There are a few, and Nathyrnn is one of them. So come join us. You won't be disappointed.
That's a great way to put it. So, uh, well, thanks for coming on and talking with me, Hawke. And it was great to ask you these questions and hearing what you had to say.
Well, thank you for having me, and I had, it was fun answering those questions. I'll give a little insight, and, I don't know. It was thank you for having me. Fun.
And so, and thank all you guys watching, and both Hawke and I hope to see you in Nathyrnn. Thanks, and hope you guys have a nice day.